Today we're joined by Brennan Clost, Juilliard-trained dancer, breakout star of The Next Step and Tiny Pretty Things, and now rising actor-producer.
In 2025 alone, he's taken bold new steps with roles in Fear Street, Prom Queen, and The Legacy of Cloudy Falls. It made his producing debut with the dark comedy Loathe Thy Neighbor.
We talk dance, identity, reinvention,
and how Brennan's carving space for himself in a world where he felt outside of.
Not to mention his and my connection. Let's get into it.
2025.
Yeah.
It's a big year.
Yeah, it's been a really big year. Yeah.
You're taking it all in?
Yeah, I'm trying to as much as I can. Last night we had a really big advanced preview for Loathe Thy Neighbor, and I had a moment in the Q&A afterwards and was just looking out like a packed auditorium and realizing we're in Cineplex. And when we shot the movie back in 2023, I just never imagined that far ahead. So I really had a like, whoa, it all started sinking in moment, because it's just been really fast and go, and producerial, like figuring out things all the time. It's just been very like heady. And so to actually get to sit and enjoy now, it's really exciting.
There's so many elements of that. I love the idea that you stepped out there and you said you had to take a moment. Were you able to sort of connect with faces and see what their reactions were like to even just your presence and what the film was like?
Yeah, well, and I had one of my best friends, Romy Weltman, who's an actor as well. She was there, and she also is very immersed in like the acting scene at LB Acting Studio, Casting Central, and she's been really kind to tell me that like there's been a lot of conversation with young actors around our age and how they're looking to our movie and seeing a bunch of Canadians who just went out and made something and scrapped this together and got into TIFF last year, and now we're in theaters, and she's like, people are really inspired. And so I looked at her and she was all teary-eyed in the audience. My parents were there, and it was their first time seeing the film. They loved it. My dad's face is in the movie too.
Really?
Yeah, so there was a really funny moment. Our director and my dad haven't met yet. And the director walked out of the theater last night and was like, know him? Did I go to high school with him? But he's just been staring at like photos of my dad's. In the film, my character's father has passed away. And so we just sourced real life of photos of my dad and I. And so anyways, it was just really cool. My parents were super proud and emotional, and
I was gonna say, you've gone through such a journey, and doing something like this, where it's a different field for you, you're stepping into a whole new world. What did you learn about yourself through this process?
A lot, honestly. Producing is a completely different beast. And I started the journey of this movie and I was 27 and I'm 30 now. And my character in the movie, it really is his journey from like boy to man. And I feel like that's really true for myself as well. I've grown up a lot through the process and learned a lot. And they say when things don't go well, you learn a lot more than when things go easily or go smoothly. And that's been really true with this movie.
He's a man
Yeah, no, truly. And I think I was just really naive, like launching into this movie. And we were like, oh, we can make it on a shoestring budget. And my agent was like, no, you can't actually. And then I just kind of didn't talk to my team for a few weeks. We made the movie and I called them back and I'm like, so we finished it. Now we have to do post. And just like, I think it was good that I didn't know what a feat it was going to be when I started. And we just kind of went in and...
Do you think that knowledge would have gotten in the way?
Probably.
Yeah.
And like from beginning of the idea to being done filming was 7 weeks. Like things don't happen that quickly normally. And I think if we stopped to think about it too hard, we would have stopped. Like I think part of the magic of this movie was that we just kind of like got on the track and kept going and figured it out at lightning speed and tried to capture some like lightning in a bottle.
One of the things, right, when you want to try something new, try a new project, and there's a lot of no's, or they're like, oh, maybe this is not the way to do it. And then you have a friend who goes, okay.
Yeah.
And then it changes your whole perspective that something can happen.
Yeah.
Who was that for you?
That was Lauren Holly. Yeah. We met on Tiny Pretty Things in 2019 and then became a bubble in COVID. Did a bunch of press for the show together and just got really close, surprisingly. And went on trips together. I moved in with her for a month to help her like pack up and move house. And and it just was a really surprising friendship. And for me, like a mentorship. Like she's been so kind, giving me advice and knowledge through the years. And she suffered a big loss in her family in 2023, early in the year, and was really grieving. And, we were checking in on each other. I was checking in on her. And we just felt like the way through it was to like make something. And I suggested a short film and she was like, you can't do anything with a short. If we're going to do it, let's do a full feature. And it was really her that was like, now's the time. The Hollywood strikes, people are available. There's equipment sitting on shelves. Like, let's do it. We can do it. And if she hadn't been so determined and go-getter and like, we're doing it now and you don't have a choice. And I was like, okay, great. Yeah. And just jumping with her into that. It was really her that like...
What if the person to follow into the fray,
Yeah.
right? Like,
Yeah.
I mean, she really knows what she's doing.
Truly, yeah.
On the scale of 1 to 10, how would you rate her dance skills?
You know what? I'll give her a 5. Yeah, I'll give her a 5 for heart and
5.5,
soul.
please.
Yeah, 5.5. Yeah.
Okay, we want to dig into some of these photos. So we did go back.
Okay.
And we want to ask you if you remember.
Don't be nervous.
I'm like, you see me getting like, oh God, what's down on the grid?
November 3rd, 2012.
No.
Oh.
Mine was my dog also, just letting everybody know. Tell us about this
Yeah.
relationship. Look at this.
That's my sweet baby Annie, who's since passed away. Yeah, I have a tattoo for her. She is my first and only dog, and oh my God, I'm like getting choked up. Yeah, just like, I've had her since I was 13. She lived to be 14, was like our little baby for years and years, yeah. In that photo, I had come home for Canadian Thanksgiving, I think. But that's in front of my parents' house. I think I was leaving to go to the airport, and so everyone was out on the lawn, and I just like scooped her up and made my brother take that photo. And I posted it because I thought the colors kind of looked like the Canada flag with her in the middle and the tree on either side. Yeah.
So you do remember that moment?
I now seeing it, I'm like, oh yeah, that's really sweet. Yeah.
As we were
I mean,
talking.
we were just talking about her, but
Lauren. Yeah.
What, is this in the middle of a take?
This
or
is
still from
a moment in a scene. Yeah. So we had a stills photographer come, and he was so awesome. He did like proper like gallery shoot photos for us, but then also stuck around and just like rapid fire shot while we were in scene. So we got a lot of these really cool like character moments. So that's one of them. Yeah, this is a really fun scene.
Yeah.
When my character goes to actually like try and broker peace, apologize to my neighbor, Wanda, Lauren's character, and she comes out with a baseball bat.
So in the film,
Yeah.
essentially like you guys are like dueling neighbors.
Truly,
Right?
yeah.
What is it like to go from having, I mean, you said you moved in with her, you guys have a really close relationship, to playing that
Like rivals.
opposition and that rivalry. Is that an easy switch to make?
I think so. Yeah. And I think when you're closer with someone in real life off camera, there's more trust and you can really go further on camera and not worry about scorning the other actor and, you know, like needing to check on them after a take. Like we really could lean in and rip into each other and know that they'd call cut and we'd be like, oh my God, that was so good. Like, okay, for the next one, let's do, you know, like it was really collaborative in any way. I also just need to say, so when I started dancing, I started at Dancers Burlington.
No way.
And you wouldn't know this, but I think you were in grade 12 or you had just graduated and I was 7 and the whole studio called me Mini Carlos. And it was like, I was stepping into your like legacy and you were such a celebrity at that studio. And it just made me feel so like, wow, I have an older male dancer to look up to and kind of like aspire towards. And yeah, so I've been aware of you for a really long time. And this is so cool to be here
That's
today.
very flattering. As you know, obviously being a competitive dancer becomes such a huge part of your life.
Oh, you're training like
And it's
40 hours a week.
Yeah, and it's your identity as you move through the world. So you everything goes through that prism. And you know, my life there was like so full. So to hear that you had a very full life as you started there is really nice.
And then would also be like, well, Carlos wouldn't do that, Brennan. Like it was a way that they would like keep me in line. And I was like, oh God, Carlos, okay. How would Carlos do it? Like it was totally, yeah.
To be fair, I never reached the heights you reached with dance. You've done so phenomenally and are such a beautiful dance. When we were talking about the photos, so we send each other photos to be like, what do you think about this one for the story? What do you think about this one for the story? And so you get us something like 8 photos of you just dancing. She was like,
beautiful.
So
Oh, thank you. Sorry, I might be jumping ahead in what you planned to. You mentioned choreo and I was like,
this is where we're gonna go next.
Yeah.
I love
Because
this photo.
it's
This is like an
such a
epic.
beautiful
It says
shot.
so much about your story.
Oh, thank you. Yeah. And this was right after filming Tiny Pretty Things. So as a dancer too, like, you know, you're so body aware and body conscious all the time. And I felt like so fit because that show was crazy. We were working sometimes 7 days a week. I remember there was one push where we flew to Chicago to film. And so because they had to slot that in, I think we worked 22 days straight without an off day. Because it was like the 6 of us that were the young leads that were acting and dancing on the show. Anytime we weren't on camera, we were in another soundstage rehearsing, or on Saturdays, they were re-bleaching my hair for like 7 hours in the hair salon. And then Sundays we would have rehearsal. And yeah, that picture to me was like, oh wow, I look like an athlete
Yeah.
after the shoot. Like that, it was a 6 or 7 month shoot. And Kashmir, one of my castmates, we went and met up with Carolina, who is like the resident photographer of the National Ballet. And I met her through that show. And so that was really cool for me as like a young dancer, shooting with that photographer, feeling super fit.
You talked about body image. I guess this is a question to both of you.
Sure.
Did it play a major role in your mentality, I guess, right?
Unfortunately, yeah.
Really?
Yeah.
There's not a lot of conversation about, I think maybe the percentage of the population that are male dancers is pretty small, right? The general population.
Yeah.
You know, in general, there's sort of an idea about a male body and what it should look like. And obviously, everybody is built differently. I would love for you to speak to your experience about, you know, growing up in a studio or several studios, going to Juilliard also, and knowing that this is your instrument and your instrument's always going to be seen, and how that reflects on your own body image and your mental health.
Was there a standard you had to follow as a dancer?
Sort of, yeah. I mean, in the competitive dance world, and just like the dance industry in general, is still really traditional. I think it comes from like classical ballet of like, the women dance these roles on point, and this is the aesthetic, and the men dance these roles and in this way. And I was constantly being told to dance more like a boy growing up. Like there was a real impetus on not being too feminine or sitting in your hip too much, or, you know, and they were always like, I remember being at conventions when I was young, like in a jazz funk class, which is like pretty sassy just as like a genre. And they would always be like, oh, and this is the male option. And it was always like boring. I'm like, but that's not even the style of this class. Like, why are we being like distilled down and not getting to just be a body dancing? Like, why is it so gendered? And then Juilliard actually was the first time I felt a huge shift into just like their treatment of the body was something I didn't grow up with in competitive dance. Competitive dance was like, run yourself into the ground. I remember ripping all the muscles in my wrist right before flying to Germany in grade 9 for like a worldwide competition, and my teacher wouldn't let me tape my wrist, and it was like purple and jagged muscle, and like I'd torn all the muscles. I was doing back handsprings on stage with like no brace because he was like, it doesn't match your costume. You know what I mean? Like that was the competitive dance atmosphere that I grew up in. That was just sort of like, yeah, you're training and this is the expectation and we don't care if you're injured. And then Juilliard was suddenly like, we had classes and workshops dedicated to injury prevention and taking care of the body. And they had therapists that we could go to. And all these things are true, but I mean, at Juilliard, I definitely had a bit of a like disordered eating habits that came out. Just not really for anyone's fault except for my own, like just being every day.
Seeing all the pressure and then what people are saying, not wrapping your hand, you know, you're trying to be your best, and that played a role in it too.
For sure. And I remember one year we had a piece where halfway through, half of the dancers would remove like their top and just be in like these little spandex shorts. And the artistic director walked around and the choreographer was like, oh yeah, I haven't decided who it's going to be. And he knew us and walked around and picked everybody in the class that like had abs. They would be the ones to take off, and anyone that, and you knew if they were kind of looking at you or like touching your side in ballet, like, you know, so like all of those things play. And we had a spandex only dress code. So Juilliard, you didn't have to be in like black leotard, pink tights. It was just like spandex. So they could see your body, but every day then you're standing and staring in the mirror from 9 a.m. till 9 p.m. with 23 other young dancers, and you're all just staring at each other, and then you go and eat lunch in the cafeteria together, and everyone's looking at what you're eating. You know, like it just starts to weasel its way into your mind.
The psychology of it is a little,
Yeah.
when you take a step
It's like a
back,
mind fuck,
years afterwards, it really is. And if you talk to anyone that grew up dancing, they have very similar stories about how they're just really trying to recover in a way from what was required of them and what felt normal, which is really not normal in everyday life.
No,
Champions.
How does one not quit? Like, I can't. You're 9 years old. You're going through this pain. I know you guys have a dream, but
well, your dream is big.
Yeah.
I mean, there's a lot at stake for you to comply. It sounds awful to say, but I mean, you can speak to this, I'm sure.
Yeah.
But like, you know, just like the stories of the ones that you just told, that's like, okay, well, this is a Tuesday because the big show is coming and I have to be
right.
whatever.
And I think for me, and more so, I like didn't fit in anywhere else. Like I was bullied really badly at school for being a male dancer. And so the dance studio, even if my teachers were really harsh or bullies themselves, like I felt like I fit in and I was good at something in dance, and it was the only place I really felt like that. So even if it was tough, it was the only
your
place to
identity
be.
at the
Yeah,
time, right?
yeah,
Yeah.
And do you find like now things will still come up and you're like, okay, I actually can quiet that. I don't need to let that in. Like,
I was just talking, people have the dream,
Mm-hmm.
like literally, like your literal dream when you're sleeping about like missing something. Usually it's a test. I
Right.
showed up for an exam and I didn't study.
mhm.
For years, my dream was I showed up to the show and I didn't know any choreography.
I have that too.
Yeah.
Or I'm on stage and I start and I know
Yeah.
it, and then suddenly I'm lost.
Suddenly I'm lost.
That's crazy. I wonder how many dancers have
I
that
think- I
recurring
think
nightmare.
That's the recurring nightmare for dancers. Now,
Yeah.
now
It's crazy.
it's changed now because of our job.
Yeah.
So I was just recently talking to my wife about it. So Rachel, Rachel, she grew up in dancers also.
Yeah.
So I was telling her this, that my dream actually changed recently to being, I showed up to an interview and I wasn't prepared. So I'm like, my mom.
Like, okay, at least I've grown
I'm
into like the next
officially
stage.
have
You moved
on.
on.
Yeah.
Your nightmares are better now.
My nightmares are better, but again,
It's the same.
recent. And I haven't been a dancer since I was 25.
So then it
So-
begs the question for you, when did you start loving yourself?
I think quite recently. I mean, in like the truest sense of accepting like every negative and positive and loving like my truest and fullest self.
Yeah.
But like after Juilliard, I took a break from dance for 2 years, which no one in my class was doing. Like the program gears you to audition and join dance companies in Europe and pursue a concert dance career. And I was the only one that didn't want to go and do that. I had fallen in love with film and TV. And my classmates didn't get it. They're like, you're never going to be in this kind of shape again in your life. And you're never going to be a Juilliard graduate like you are right now. And I just needed to come back home and put myself back together after school in my parents' house. And I feel like kind of recently, I mean, Tiny Pretty Things actually was huge. It made me fall in love with dance again. Because it was after that, I wasn't on the next step anymore. I had just finished Juilliard. I stopped dancing completely. Then I kind of started dancing. I did a contract in Austria, performing for the Salzburg Opera Festival, which was beautiful and a cool opportunity, but the choreographer was really creepy and really kind of tainted the experience for me. And then I came home and was like, I hate dance. I'm done with this industry. I'm only going to do film and TV work. And then Tiny Pretty Things came along and just made me fall in love with dance again, thankfully. Yeah. So like that was a good first step. And then since then I was 25 on Tiny, and then now 30, I feel like I finally love myself.
It's a journey, and 40s get better for women, at least. I don't know about men, but like 40s is.
Well, that's what I've heard about your
like
30s is like actually what you thought your 20s were going to be, and then your 40s or whatever and models your 30s to be, where you like actually have money for the first time and best friends that aren't secret haters, and like you love yourself
You
and
love yourself more, and you get to a point where the things that used to bother you don't even hit you.
Yeah.
It's just like bugs in a windshield. You're just like, oh, I can't believe I used to obsess over this.
Yeah.
And now here I am.
It's like teenagers.
Can't wait for that.
Yeah.
I'm happy for you guys.
Friendship is like the biggest thing in the world for them, right? So you guys lived a very competitive life, and I'm glad you found yourself now in your 30s. That's special itself. So
Thank you.
We wanted to get, I mean, you mentioned it really briefly there, but I love this picture so much.
we both picked this.
We
photo.
both picked this
Oh,
photo.
really?
We want to get into something that like obviously is a big part of your life.
Yeah.
And speaking of fitting in, look at these boys here.
Oh my God, this
action.
photo. I don't think they ever ended up using this for like a proper promo shot. I think my Instagram is how the internet and the world has found this photo, and I see this everywhere. This was a joke. We took like a proper gallery shoot. This must have been season 2. I can tell by my
2014,
wardrobe. And like the joke on the next step, well, the internet now jokes that like they outfitted us like a pack of crayons, and all of us had like an assigned color, and red was my color.
Right.
I
You're like-
only wear
you're like
red on
Power
that show.
Rangers.
Yeah, like the
Yeah,
Power
Power
Rangers.
Rangers. The Power Rangers.
Literally.
Yeah.
And so every season we would jokingly take like a boy band photo. So that's what that season's boy band photo.
The amount of love that you guys have gotten globally for this show must be, I mean, there's so many of you that came from competitive dance to go into this thing. How did you adjust to becoming essentially world famous?
Yeah.
I think I got like the long stick in hindsight, because we filmed the show, but my character actually leaves every season to go to Juilliard in real life. And the show was kind enough to always bring me back and write me back in and write out different reasons why I had to leave and whatever. But the rest of my castmates were here in Canada. The show aired here first. And I think we had the biggest premiere of any Family Channel series ever, which was like
wow.
mind-blowing, but I was in New York. And so there was no one cared in my class. My classmates called me Disney bitch, and like kind of teased me that I was on like a kid show. Like they didn't really get it. They whatever, were probably a little jealous, and that was it. And I like didn't talk about it at school, didn't really think about it, and it was like not a thing. And then I came home for that first Christmas and got mobbed at the mall, and was like, whoa. So I think it was good for me that I didn't actually, like in those formative years at university, I wasn't around the hype of it. Because my other castmates were fully just like next step year round. They would film it in the summer. They would do tours through the year. The first year, I think they did like a mall tour across Canada and just like performed in every major mall. Then they were touring in Australia, the UK, like all over the world. And I didn't go on any of the tours, so I didn't get that like celebrity experience. And I think it was good for me in hindsight. Like at the time I really missed out and was having like FOMO and wanted to be there, and I'm at school dancing, I'm sweaty all the time, you guys are on a tour bus, that's so fun. But I actually think it like served me well as a person to get to enjoy the success of the show, but also be kept quite humble and bullied by my classmates, like in a fun way. Like they wouldn't bully me over it. You know, just like keep me grounded. But yeah, the show is huge. And I had a real moment adjudicating a dance competition this past spring, and dancers like coming up and telling me they started dance. Like some of those kids that started watching the show when it came out and they were 6 are now 18 or in their 20s, and they're like, I only started dancing because I saw the show. And I think about what dance has meant to me in my life, and you know, to be a bullied young male dancer to now be this like celebrated in the field that like I didn't feel like I fit in. It was something I kind of was my little secret. I had a real moment while I was adjudicating and of gratitude, and like I'm so grateful that that's been my journey as a male dancer. And I wish I could tell like 9-year-old Brennan, who was coming home crying from school, that like this is where it would end up.
How bad was the bullying at that age?
Yeah, like bad, really bad. I was getting like followed home from school, yelled at school, even just like kids. We had this one always comes to mind. We had a supply French teacher, and we all had to go around and say like our name and in French and like one thing we like to do. And I went early because my last name falls early in the alphabet, and said I like to dance. And then after me, every single boy in the class said, I'm Dylan and I like to dance. I'm so-and-so and I like to dance. And they were all snickering. It was like, and the French teacher didn't know. She's like, wow, so many boy dancers. Like, she's just a supply teacher. And I just sat there and felt so small and awful. And, you know, I had like ice balls thrown at me walking home from school. And not fun. But then grade 11 and 12, when I suddenly was like scouted by an agent and now on a Family Channel show, like all of those kids were suddenly like, hey, let's get coffee. Let's hang out.
Did you connect with any of your bullies? Have you had a chance to talk to them about it? Have they said sorry? Has any of that?
I had a couple reach out and apologize. Yeah. And like friends of mine, they're like friends that were in elementary school that we lost touch in high school, and they reached out and were like, I don't think they ever bullied me, but they were like, I'm sorry for not sticking up for you. I didn't realize that was your experience, and whatever. We were all kids. Like everyone's wrapped up in their own mind. And I did have a really fun full circle moment. And not that this guy was particularly a bully, but he was like in the group of bullies at high school. He was the quarterback of the football team. And on Tiny Pretty Things, I was like bleach blonde hair. My character had a lot of like eyeliner. I was in like a tight pink tank top, these jeans that were like, they had custom made and painted them on. And we had this big nightclub scene that was gonna happen. And I was in my trailer getting ready in like what might have been one of the gayest outfits I've ever worn. And I got a Facebook message from this guy being like, hey, Brennan, are you on set today? And I was like, yeah. He's like, cool, I'm one of the extras in the nightclub scene. Like, can't wait to see you. And I like looked up at myself in the mirror, and like, it just kind of slammed into me. I had like a huge panic attack. Had to go back to hair and makeup. They had to like redo everything. I was like, sweated it off, cried it off. Went to set. He was super sweet and was just like, I really want to get into acting. Like, you do have any tips, whatever. And then the best moment of the story, I was chatting with him and he was nice and his girlfriend was there. You know, we were chatting, and then the showrunner came over the like God mic and said, we need all the leads to meet at the center of the dance floor. And I got to go, gotta go. And turned, and I was in like 6-inch pump white go-go boots and like strutted away. And I was like, that was a great moment.
For that moment.
There's a part of you that like still connects with who you were when you were little, that wants them to feel something. Wants them to feel something of what you felt, but you now, you know, being like 30 years old, that you grew up, you know, you get to decide what it means to you now, and if it means anything, and to focus on what's next.
Yeah.
Which is really lovely. So
And I think you kind of can forgive, but you just can't forget.
Yeah.
My bully
Yeah.
came up to me and apologized years after too, but
Really?
I said, it's great, but I just couldn't forget. He
Yeah.
made my life miserable for 3 years of my school, and
but it still gets you. Like
it
if you
still
see,
gets you. Yeah.
Yeah.
And it's such a formative time, and it unfortunately does like really stick with you through
Yeah.
life.
Easy.
Yeah.
Don't be
And it's-
bullies, everybody.
Yeah,
Don't be bullies.
no.
It's the
Be
worst.
good
Everyone's going
people.
through something. And that's the other thing I've learned is that we tend to remember the negativity and not the positivity, and that switches as you get older.
It does.
And-
Yeah.
And your mindset's much better at it.
Yeah,
so
well, and it's so
maybe you have to go
healing
through it.
to like close those loops as an
Yes,
adult and have the
exactly.
bully reach out and apologize, and you get to decide: do I give you your closure?
Yeah.
Do I care that much to like give that to you? Know, like then it gives the power back to you in a way that like you never had when you were younger.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, we all went through something.
Well, I wanted to get.
I'm like leaning in. I'm catching myself like slouching. I need to like sit up. I'm getting so into this.
I wanted to get to what is next for
Okay,
you.
yeah.
Like, what is on your list of ambitions that you want to do? Is there anyone that you want to play in particular? Is there any project?
Oh.
Now that you're a producer,
Mhm.
you've
True.
gone through the ropes of like, okay, I have a project on my belt. What do you look at out there and go, I could make this next?
Well, I've been talking a lot with my team about that, and they kind of floated. They're like, well, if you have any interest in directing, maybe that's a good. And I was like, actually, I really do. And I've done a lot of choreographing growing up, and there was one particular, like, I got hired as the choreographer, and then they couldn't find a director, and I ended up directing this whole like campaign shoot. And I just think because of dance, that's what would set me apart as a director, is the eye, my like eye with movement, my musicality, choreographing the camera into a scene. How does that feel different than like a static lens? And so I think I really want to pursue that next. Loathe Thy Neighbor is my first time producing, but I think I would love to write and direct and really like from nugget of an idea, see it all the way through. And now, like producing, you have a lot more say, and I'm a bit of a control freak. I want all the say. I want to be like the guy. I want to be like the director.
Well, you
Yeah.
can write a story about this kid who's being bullied at the age of 9, going to Juilliard, and now becoming a producer. And
This is what my mom always says. My mom's like, you gotta write your story. I'm like, yeah, maybe I need to find a way to tell it, or like, what do I pull from it that's like exciting and compelling for people to see? And and I love reading books about dance too, and then thinking about, oh, could this be adapted into a series or a movie? Or so maybe it's that, like, I think dance has to be a part of it in some way. It's just, like you said earlier, it's the prism I see everything. It's like, you know, I have friends who grew up in the church or whatever, and dance is my religion. It's like how I see the world, even still. It's like, you know,
I'm curious to know, maybe this question to both of you, was there a performance that you did that you just were enamored that it happened, and it was the moment for you, and that was, you realized the dancer you are?
I have one that comes to mind, but I was really young. I was 14, and it was when I went to Germany. And while I was dancing, this solo like meant so much to me. And I, now in hindsight, like this is why this story comes to mind. When I had that injury on my wrist, the studio owner's son I was competing against, and he was like getting warmed up, getting all the attention. They wouldn't even rehearse me. He was competing a solo he had like done through the competitive season the year before, so it was like really in his body. He had cleaned up at competitions with it. He was like supposed to win at this big competition, and I had a new solo that I'd only worked on for like a month that I was competing with. And I ended up winning the silver medal for Canada. And I remember standing on the podium and looking out and seeing my mom like bawling with a Canada flag. And then I learned, well, then I came back, and that was my competition solo. And I suddenly was like winning first overall all the time. It just like brought something out of me. And the solo was to a Josh Groban song called Don't Give Up. I think the story in the solo was that I was like walking to an audition and, you know, like that. But for me, it was all about getting bullied and what was going on at school. And I learned years later that my dad picked that solo song and went in and was like, Brennan has to dance to this. Like, otherwise we're not coming back this year. Like he like picked this, what became like an anthem for me. And so that solo was my, oh wow, I'm kind of good. Like I'm 14 and I finally felt like some of my technique was showing, and you know, because I was kind of playing catch up when I first started dancing. A lot of the girls had been dancing since they were 2. And I was like the kid that came in, I'd never done anything before. I'd only taken 6 months of ballet. And then suddenly I was like jazz, tap, hip hop, everything, didn't know how to do a shuffle. And then Tiny Pretty Things, we filmed at the Living Arts Center in Mississauga where we had filmed The Next Step, and I had done dance recitals in high school. So that was another one where I was like, whoa, now I'm like, this theater really means a lot to me. And yeah.
Oh.
Canadian dancers always have this rep for just being great workers, hard workers, great to work with. Is that your experience when you've gone internationally, gone to the States, that you're like, you can pick out who was raised?
The other Canadians.
Yeah, you can pick out who was raised here and trained here.
Yeah, I think so. Yeah, and it's that like we often don't have an ego and are there to work and are there to like make other people shine as well as ourselves. And I found that in a lot of other Canadians. And at Juilliard, we all kind of like, I mean, we were friends with everybody, but the Canadians all kind of looked out for each other. And yeah, I was lucky to like fall into that. There was an older dancer, David Norsworthy, who was a fourth year when I was a first year. Do you know David as well? Yeah. And David's so sweet and really like, he actually was at my audition day for Juilliard, and I had already assisted at his dance convention fresh. And all the other teachers were his Juilliard classmates. So I like kind of knew of Juilliard through that and thought like, oh, maybe I could fit in with dancers like this. And then at my audition, he was there. So he was like the demonstrator for the day and would kind of like give me little side looks of like, good job, whatever. And as the cuts were happening, he was running to the lobby to tell my parents that I'd made the next cut. You know, so like we look out for each other. We recognize the hard work and that not a lot of us make it out into like the big professional industries.
You love dancing so much. Why aren't you out at more shows? Like, why aren't you going to watch all these dance shows?
That's true. Because
You're fascinated by it.
I love dance.
Yeah.
It speaks to you, just like certain music does, right? And there's such an art watching you. Like that photo, I was just looking at it. I'm like, there's so much, the emotions, you know, the move, everything just shows the hard work that you guys put into it. I think that's why I love it so much.
Yeah.
I mean, you've seen me dance. We've danced together. We've done some TikTok dances, but you know, in that moment, graduating Juilliard.
It was wild and super emotional. And I left that night. So it felt very final. I started rehearsals for The Next Step season 5 the next day. So my parents were at the graduation. Christine Baranski spoke at our commencement, like Juilliard alum. That was incredible. And then I just like hugged all of my best friends, and like the bonds that we had made at school it was a really intense program, and we were like bonded. And there's this picture of my best friend Hope and I just like clutching each other in our gowns, sobbing. And then I left the graduation, we packed the car and drove home through the night so I could be, so it was a huge accomplishment, and my parents were so proud. And like, I think I still to this day do a lot of things to make my parents proud. That's like the goal that I keep chasing. And they're always proud. I don't even need to chase it, but so that day was.
They've been part of your journey from the beginning. It sounds like they've always been there for you.
Yeah, well, it was my mom who kind of like chatted with my dance teacher and started the Juilliard-trained. She put together like a folder of university research, and I was really on like a math and science track in high school and applied to biochem programs in Canada. And then my mom was like, I think she knew in my heart of hearts what I really needed and wanted. And
so is there a part of you that really didn't believe that dance was going to be your future?
Yeah, I think so.
Interesting.
And then I got into Juilliard and was like, oh. Like I went and I had read a lot of blog posts by students, and they were really setting your expectation. I think Juilliard is like a 6% acceptance rate. There's like 700 dancers that apply every year, and they accept 24, 12 men and 12 women. So I was like, I'm not making it in. I'm going, it's just like a cool like life bucket list to like see the school, be in the audition. I'm getting cut after the first round, after ballet. And then I made the first cut, and then I made the next cut. And I, through the day, was like, oh, I think I actually really want this. Like the more I made it through, the more I felt really comfortable. And I just kind of like, I don't know what came over me. I'd done a lot of guided meditations leading up to it, so maybe they were taking hold. But I just started like, I got really calm. I wasn't nervous anymore. And I just started smiling the whole day. And then when I got in, at the end of the audition day, you do an interview. And the faculty member that I auditioned with, Andra Corvino, was my first year ballet teacher. And our first day, she's like, I was really rooting for you. We all on the lunch break that audition day talked about the smiling boy. And we were like, we need him at this school. And I was like, oh, like I just was so happy to be there, and like didn't think I was even gonna make the first round. And once I did, I was like, oh, I already exceeded what I thought I was gonna do. So now I can just be here and enjoy. And
How do you define success for yourself?
Oh, that's a good question. I think I'm constantly like asking myself that. And I mean, I'm sure we're all this way. I feel like the entertainment industry is really this way, where you like hit one milestone that was like a huge goal for yourself. But by the time you hit it, you're like, great, next thing. Even now I'm like, directing is next. But so I don't know. I really am trying to practice celebrating all the small wins, getting a theatrical release with Loathe Thy Neighbor, was so exciting and is so exciting. And then we found out this week that like we've been saying all along, across Canada, we're actually opening in every major city across Canada, which is crazy. Like this is an indie Canadian movie. We're opening against huge American like studio films. We're I think the only Canadian film in theaters this weekend. And so I've been really trying to nail that of like, please support Canadian film. And if like you champion our movie, I hope Cineplex brings a lot more Canadian movies in it. Like,
100%.
Yeah, that's a goal of mine as well. And that will feel like success if, let's say, one weekend, every movie opening in a Cineplex is Canadian.
I think we need
You're living your success now then.
You kind of, I'm really trying to like hold on to this moment. Yeah.
We really need more people here that have that attitude of like, you know, we can make great art and we can make great entertainment. And if you stay, like obviously go do what you need to do. But if you can come back and if you can stay and you can support this, we can make this thing bigger.
Yeah, well, and like we need to give back to the industry and the community that like brought us up in the first place. And I think that is like the assumption that you need to graduate from Canada and move down to the States. And I think that can be true for a lot of people, and it's important to gather experience, but come back. Come back and bring your tools and your things here and make great work here. Yeah.
Did you break your ankle? Is that what I was supposed to ask you?
Oh my God. On the next step I did, yes. And that's like every TikTok video I post, the fans are like, how's the ankle? How's the ankle? I'm like, it was never even injured. Yeah, but I think kids think we filmed the show like Modern Family or The Office with the confessionals, and kids thought it was real. So I always, in public, people are like, how is your ankle? I'm like, oh my God, it's good. Thank you for asking. Yeah.
Just go with it.
Yeah, I know. Now I'm kind of leaned in. I'm like, it's our inside joke.
When you eventually do your like Met Gala walk, eventually, I'm putting it.
I got a limp.
You have to do something with your outfit where there's some sort of ankle,
little
like whether
little
it's like
ribbon
or
or
jeweled or something. Like you got to do that little shout out for everybody.
I have to.
Quickly play a game.
We're gonna play click or
What
skip.
is it? Click or
skip.
Click or skip. Okay.
Okay. Oh, I don't know.
This is my first time playing this. No, you're
Oh.
playing this.
No, you go for it.
No, you play two. Come on.
Play. Okay. Click or skip. Having a relationship with a co-star.
Do you have
Skip.
Yeah, you don't want to talk about it?
Both
talk
of
about
you?
it?
Yeah, I guess. Yeah.
I mean, no, I'll click that. I mean, when I see it in the news, I'm always like, oh, I see. To me, it seems lovely that they got together, and then, but it just you have to look at the context of when it happened and who. I mean, certain relationships ended because this relationship started, but it's always
yes or
juicy.
no?
No, the click is that I'm talking about it.
Fine,
That's my take. It's juicy and people like it.
It is juicy and people like it. I think it's also messy. So skip.
People still thinking your character had an injury.
Click. It's hilarious. I love it. Let the people talk.
Dancers who only have acro tricks in their routines.
Skip.
You don't want it. You don't want to see it?
Only acro tricks?
Yes.
I don't know. I'm a firm like, let dancers dance. Let's see some cool movement. Let's find some artistry in your transitions.
Yeah.
If you want to do a back handspring, that's exciting. But if your whole dance is that, like, go to cheerleading. That's not, to me, that's not dance.
I'm also very excited for you to go through all the dance ones because she
I
was
know,
like,
like,
what is this?
what?
We're gonna have a good time. We're gonna have a good time.
Giving out high golds at dance competitions? What's that?
I died writing that
That's a
question.
skip.
I'm sorry.
What's your
No,
take?
that's so funny. Okay, so high gold.
Okay, tell me.
Yeah.
High gold sounds good, right? It's gold and it's high.
Yeah.
No, in dance competition land, no. High gold is like the lowest acceptable thing that honestly, if I received it as a dancer, it would be like, why did I even show up at this competition? It's like kind of a scorn. The dance comps make up all these different like award titles, and it's usually like platinum, diamond, ruby, emerald, high gold, high silver, silver. And it's like, you don't really go that low when you're adjudicating unless you're like, this dance was really inappropriate.
It's like inflation.
Yeah.
It's like judging inflation because this is going to be I'm going to show my age. But the first dance competition I ever did, it was literally first, second, third.
Oh, wow.
And that's all that you had was first, second,
That
third.
makes it easy.
And I came in second to Laura Wintemute for my tap solo.
There you go.
I was 8
Still
years
remember
old.
it?
You still remember. But yeah, that's all you had. And I remember there was a time when high gold was like, you got a high gold? Crazy. And then they made something above that where they were like, well, then now you're doing diamond, and now you're doing platinum, and now you're doing whatever.
Oh, that's so funny. See, I only competed in the time when it was like, ooh, you got a haggle. Like it wasn't a good thing. Yeah, crazy.
Okay, our last one.
Okay.
People who do TikTok dances who are off time.
Skip. And unfortunately, I think I'm kind of known on TikTok now for like.
Do you call people out?
I did for a bit in a fun way. Like it's
Yeah.
always, I always am trying to do it in like a good-hearted
Yeah.
humor and never to like rip someone to shreds. There was one trend that was like 1, 2, 3.
Yeah.
It was to the beat and the song, and
Right.
people are like,
The counts. 1, 2, 3, and 4, and 5, 6, 7, 8. Get it together.
and I'm just like, practice again. It's the same with like a lip sync,
Right.
and you're not knowing the words.
Yeah.
Like, why are we posting that? Let's
Right.
practice it again.
Right.
This is the dancer in me. I'm like,
Yeah.
practice till it's perfect, and then we perform.
Get it together.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So I think your take is like regular people need to be introduced to the concept of just
He
rehearsal.
doesn't want to see my videos of me
Right.
dancing.
So like, people go, Carlos, I gotta dance for us. Here, we gotta do it. And I'm like, okay, what is it? She goes, I don't know, teach me.
Oh my God. And you're like, let me learn
Okay.
it first.
So we have. We've
done some
done
good
that.
moves.
Yeah, for sure.
Oh, I'm going to go have
He's
to home
always
and
rolling
watch.
his eyes like, really? And then we do it. We do
Yeah,
do it.
it.
We do it.
It
Yeah.
always comes out good. But
Well, I have
yeah.
one for you guys today. You want to do one today?
Yeah, I'll do
Yeah.
one.
No, I'm kidding. I'm kidding.
Oh, well, now we have
I gotta find one. Thank you so much
Yeah,
for being
Brennan.
with us.
Thank you for having me. And
Such
this was
fun
a
conversation.
Yeah.
great conversation,
Yeah.
great questions. Thank you for your time.
Yeah.
Amen.